In this tutorial, I'll show you how to create this procedural stylized wireframe material in Blender. So this material could be really useful, for example, adding it onto a car model to kind of add a cool techie effect to the spinning car. You could also add it to other abstract or sci-fi renders. Now this wireframe shader doesn't actually show the correct topology of the mesh. You can see here's the actual topology of the mesh. Now the monkey does have a subdivision surface modifier, but you can see the wireframe shader is going to add these triangles here in the faces. So if you want to learn how to render proper wireframe images, then you can check out this other video which I made, and I'll have the link to that in the description. But this is more of a stylized kind of futuristic wireframe effect that you can add to objects. Now we're going to be creating two different versions. So the first version is a wireframe emission. So the wireframe is actually going to emit light. And then the other one here is just this base wireframe, which you can change the custom colors. So we have this base color here, and we also have the roughness of the material. And then we also have this cool wireframe thickness. You can make it thicker or thinner depending on what you're working on. And then we also have the wireframe brightness for the emission because it's emitting light. And then we also have the wireframe color, which is that emission color. Then we also have this cool noise value here. So if I turn up this noise amount, you can see there's going to be bits of noise where the wireframe disappears. And then we have the noise scale. We also have the detail level of the noise, and then we also have the roughness value of the noise, and then also noise distortion. So for this one, again, we have the base color, we also have the wireframe color, then we also have the roughness of the material, and then again, we have the wireframe thickness, and then again, we have similar noise values. So we have the noise amount, and then we have the scale, we also have the detail, we also have the roughness, and then also the distortion. And if you'd like to purchase these procedural materials, you can get them with the links in the description. And you can also purchase all of my procedural materials by checking out my Ultimate Blender Procedural Material Pack, which comes with all of my procedural materials preset up for Blender's asset browser with custom thumbnails, sorted catalogs, and customizable node groups. Now every time I create another 10 procedural materials, I update the Ultimate Material Pack with all of my new materials. And so I've just finished these next materials. So these materials have just been added to my Ultimate Procedural Material Pack. And to learn how to create more materials, you can check out my Blender Procedural Material Tutorial playlist here on YouTube. So real quick, I'll show you what I have set up in the 3D viewport if you want to set it up the same way that I have. So I just went to the add menu and I just added a monkey head, and I scaled it down by a 0.2 and then hit Control A and just applied the scale. Then I hit Control 1 to add a subdivision surface with 1 level, and I'll make the viewport and render levels both 1, and then I'll just shade it smooth. Then I'll move this over here and duplicate it so we have two different monkeys to preview both materials. Let's set up the lighting. So if I go here to the world properties, I'm going to be adding in this Machine Shop 02 HDRI from polyhaven.com. So if you want to download it, the link is in the description, and I downloaded the 1K HDR version. So once you download the HDRI, you can click on this yellow dot here next to color, and you can choose environment texture, and then just click on the open button and open up the HDRI. And I went up here to the render properties and I opened up the film tab and I just checkmarked the transparent button so you can't see the HDR in the background. And then also here on the color management, I'm using AGX and very high contrast to make the colors more contrasted. So let's click over here to go to the shading workspace. And I'll just select the first monkey head. I'll go into the rendered viewport mode, and then I'll click on new here to add a new material in the shader editor. And I'll just call this wireframe emission. We're going to be creating the emission wireframe first. And then I will also be using the Node Wrangler add-on, so you can click here on Edit, and you can go to the Preferences, and then go to the Add-ons tab and just search for Node and just enable the Node Wrangler add-on. So I'm going to start by making this a dark blue color, and if you want to use the same exact hex value, you can punch in this hex value right here. I'm just going to make it a nice dark blue color. Then I'm going to turn the roughness down, so I'll just turn the roughness down to like a 0.2, so it's kind of shiny. Now the main node that we're going to use to create this effect is the wireframe node. So if you go to the add menu, you can add the wireframe node. And if I Control Shift and select the wireframe, I can preview it. What I'm going to do is open up the emission here, and I'm going to put the factor into the strength, and then I'll Control Shift select the principled shader to preview it. So now wherever the wireframe is, that is going to make it an emission. And then I can also drag this size here down so I can make it smaller, but you can see it's really hard to drag this value because the value is so sensitive. So to make the size less sensitive so it's easier to change the size, I'm going to search for a math node. And we'll put the math node here behind the wireframe, and the value is going to go into the size, so we're replacing that value. Now here on the type here, I'm going to change it to divide. So now on the top value, I'll turn it to 1, and on the bottom value, I'm going to turn it to 1000. end. So this way we can now use the top value and I can drag it back and forth, and you can see we can very easily have more customizable control over the size of it. Now the wireframe shader is going into the strength of the emission, and so we don't actually have any value to change the brightness. So what I'm going to do is click on the divide and I'll duplicate it and stick it here, and then instead of divide I'm going to change it to multiply instead. And then on this value here I'll just turn it to a 1 on default. But now I can turn this value and that's going to multiply the color values, and so it's going to make it brighter and brighter. So we can use this in the custom node group to make the emission brighter. And then of course if you want to, right here on the color, on the emission color, you can change the emission color right there, but I'll just leave it as a white color. So now I want to add that cool noise effect so that some parts can be taken away by a noise. So I'm just going to search for a noise texture, and we're just going to drop it up here, and then with the noise texture selected, I'll hit Control T to add the texture coordinate mapping, and I can just delete the mapping, and then let's put the object into the vector, and the object coordinates will place the texture on the object more evenly, and let's Control Shift select the noise texture to preview it. And let's now change some of the settings. So I'm going to turn the scale to 20, and I'll turn the detail up to 10 so it's pretty detailed, and then I'll turn the roughness up to a 0.6. So I do want to make it more contrasted, so let's go to the add menu, and I'm just going to search for a color ramp, and let's stick it here after the noise. And for now I'll just kind of drag these together so it's more contrasty, but we'll be customizing this later. So now what I want to do is I want to mix the color ramp in here with the wireframe, and I want to make it so that where the noise is, the wireframe is going to disappear. So to do this, I'm going to search for a mix color to mix two colors together. So we're going to take the color ramp and put that into the factor, and then the multiply can go into color A. Now here in color B, we can just make this fully black. So now I can take this mix result and I can replace it here for the strength. So now this is going to be the new color. So let's just Control Shift select the principal shader, and now you can see that where the noise is, if I Control Shift select it, you can see like right here, this is really bright. So wherever the noise is going to be really bright, that's where it's going to be disappearing. So I'll just Control Shift select the principled shader just to see that again. Now I do want to customize this a little bit. So what I'm going to do is on the color ramp here, I'm going to drag this over a bit, and then also drag the white tab over a little bit. I like something like that a little bit better. But then also I want to be able to control the visibility of the noise, because maybe I just don't want to use the noise in some cases. So what I can do is add a hue saturation value node, and we'll put it here after the color ramp. Now the hue saturation value has this value which I can turn up and down, so I'll just Control Shift select it to preview it. So if I turn the value down, it's going to be fully black. So now you can see that it's showing all the wireframe. But if I turn the value up and make it lighter, more and more of it is going to be white, and so more and more of it is going to be disappeared. So I'll turn the value all the way to 0 on default, but in the custom node group we can turn this up to kind of add that cool effect. So now let's join this together into a node group. So I'm going to click and drag to box select all the nodes except the material output, and I'll hit Control G to join it together into a node group. Let's hit Tab to go out of the node group. I'll just drag it over here. Let's make it bigger, and I can copy the material name and add it here into the node group. Let's hit Tab to go into the node group, and I'll hit the N key to open up the side panel. And then if I go over here to the group tab, we have the group sockets, and so I can double click on this to rename it, and I'll just rename it to shader because I like that better. So now we can plug up all the custom values to this group input to control them outside of the node group. So the first value that I want to add is the base color. So we'll drag the group input right over here next to the principled shader, and we'll put the base color, and also let's put the roughness into the extra sockets. Then let's control the wireframe thickness. So I'm going to drag the group input right back here, and this value can control the thickness. So we'll put the value into the extra socket. We'll double click on this to rename it, and I'll just rename that to wireframe thickness. Then to control the wireframe brightness, we have the multiply, so we'll put this into the extra socket, and this one I'm going to rename to wireframe brightness. Then for the wireframe color, we can drag this over here next to the principled shader, and we'll put the color into the extra socket, and you could leave this to emission color. I'm going to call it wireframe color, or you could call it wireframe emission color, whatever makes sense for you. Then let's control the noise amount, so I'll drag the group input under the color ramp, and we have this value that we can control how much noise, so we'll put the value into the extra socket, and I'll just rename this to noise amount. Then I want to control the noise settings, so I'll drag the group input back here behind the noise, and I'll put the scale, the detail, the roughness, and the distortion all into the extra sockets. And then if I drag this down, I'm going to copy the word noise here, and then I can paste it here. So we have noise scale, paste it here, noise detail, noise roughness, and noise distortion. So I'll hit the N key to close the side panel. Let's just drag this maybe up here, and I'll hit tab to go out of the node group, and I can just review the material to make sure it's working. So we first have the base color, that's looking good. Then we have the roughness of the material. We also have the wireframe thickness. We have the wireframe brightness, and then also the wireframe color, and then we have the noise amount, so I'll turn this up so I can see the noise. And then I also have the noise scale, the detail, also the roughness, and the distortion. So I'll turn the noise amount back to 0. So that is it for the first material. So I'm now just going to duplicate this material and add it to the other monkey, and we'll be creating another one which is similar but isn't an emission. So just select the other monkey head, we'll click on the drop down, and we're just going to add the same material. But I now want to duplicate the material so that when we change the settings, it won't affect the other material. So to do this, we need to do two things. First, I'm going to click right here to duplicate the shader or the entire material. So now it's says wireframe emission 001. I'm just going to get rid of that so we have just the base wireframe. However, this wireframe node group is the same node group right in here, so if I change the values, it would affect the other material. So I need to click on this 2 icon, click on the 2, and that's going to duplicate it, so it's now separate. And I'm just going to call it wireframe. So let's hit the tab key to go into the node group, and I'm just going to change some of the settings. So because this material isn't going to be emission, let's go over here to the emission, and I'm going to unplug the color and unplug the strength of the emission, make sure the strength is turned to 0, and we can just close the emission. Now if I hit the N key to open up the side panel, let's drag this down and make it bigger. We don't want to use the wireframe color, so we'll click on this. This is the emission one, so click on that and then hit the minus to get rid of it. And then we also don't need this multiply, because this multiply node here was used to make it brighter. So if I click on the multiply, I'll hit Control X to get rid of it. So Control X will get rid of the value, but still keep this wire plugged up. So now you can see we have this extra value here, the wireframe brightness. So I click on that wireframe brightness, we'll hit the minus to get rid of it. Now I also want to get rid of the base color because we're going to be creating two separate custom colors. So here in the base color, just click on the base color here and hit the minus to get rid of that as well. So if I just Control Shift select the mix here, you can see this mix color has white and black for the wireframe in the background. So let's click on the principled shader and we're just going to drag it back here. And then I'll just Control Shift select the principled shader so the viewer isn't in the way. So this mix here, I can put the mix result into the color. So now you can see we have black and white. But I want to create custom colors for this. So I'll go to the add menu and I'm just going to search for another mix color. And we're going to put this here after the first one. Now, because this mix result is black and white, we can put it into the factor, and that's going to determine what part is going to be color A and what part is going to be color B. So then I'm going to make two different custom colors, and I kind of like using these brownish grayish colors. So for color A, I'm going to be using this mid gray color, and you can punch in the hex value if you want to use the same color. And also on color B, this is going to be kind of like a dark brown. And again, you can punch in the same hex value if you want to get the exact same color I'm using. So now just make sure the mix result is going into the base color. Let's just kind of compress these together so it looks a little bit better. So I now want to add those new colors as custom colors. So I'll click on the group input and let's just drag it right up here. We'll zoom in here and I can now take color A, put that into the extra socket, and color B, put that into the extra socket. And let's double click on A, and this is going to be the base color because this is the light one. And then here in color B, I'll double click on this to rename it and call it wireframe color. So now I'm going to click on the base color and I'm going to drag it up to the top and let go. So base color is at the top, and then click and drag and drop the wireframe right after that. So you have the base color and wireframe there at the very top. Now let's click on the group input and just drag it back to the very end, and let's zoom into the color ramp. And for this material, I actually like the color ramp being more contrasty. I think it just looks better for the noise. So I'm going to drag these values really close to each other, kind of like that, kind of in the middle. So it's going to be more contrasted. So let's hit the tab key to go outside the node group. I'll hit N to close the side panel. And then we still have that viewer node plugged up. So just Control Shift select the principled shader to preview the final thing. So we have the base color of the material, then we also have the wireframe color, and then we also have the roughness of the material. We also have the wireframe thickness, and then we have the noise amount, so I'll turn up the noise, and then we also have the noise scale, the noise detail, the noise roughness, and the noise distortion. So that's how you create these two procedural stylized wireframe materials. You can also purchase these procedural materials on my Gumroad store and Patreon page, and that's that's a great way to help support the channel. Now I've just finished creating all of these new materials, so these materials have just been added into my ultimate procedural material pack. So if you're an existing customer, you can re-download the product files and reinstall it as an asset library to get the updates with these new materials. You can also just purchase this new procedural material pack, so if you're interested in that, link is in the description. And you can also check out my procedural material tutorial playlist to learn how to create many more materials. So I hope you found this helpful, and thank you for watching.